My name is Jenny Irvine from the Raise Ventures team. I'm joined today by Michael McDowell, also from the Raise team, and our Raise Spring cohort. I just wanted to welcome you all to the event today, where you have the opportunity to showcase some companies that have been part of our program for the last 2 months. And what essentially we've been covering with these companies is not just really good business foundations, but looking at everything from the market opportunity to pricing, right through to sales, and even digging into their technical product and getting them the best foundations ready for them to be investor ready. Then we also come in and talk to them about cap tables, fundraising, term sheets, valuations, and preparing them to pitch. We've been doing some work on the pitches prior to today. So we're really excited to be showcasing the work that the startups have been doing so far. As I mentioned in all our promotional materials, we are very early stage technical products that are building and launching to market. And what you'll see today is the traction that they've got so far, and hopefully the opportunity and the vision to build these companies from early stage into scalable global companies. So we're really excited to showcase the spring cohort today. I'm going to hand over to Michael McDowell, my co-founder at Raise, to introduce each of the companies. How we're going to run today is maybe a 5 to 7 minute pitch for each of the companies to present and showcase their opportunity. Then there'll be a chance to maybe ask some questions. You can put those in the chat or maybe put your hand up. And at the end of each presentation, we'll have a bit of a poll just to see if anybody's interested in following up. And we'd love to see you voting on that poll. And we'll also be following up after for individual conversations. Just really today is all about follow-up conversations and piquing that interest to find out more for the people on the call. So Michael, I'll pass over to you. I'm really excited to hear how we're going to kick off today.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 great startups who are going to be sharing a little bit about themselves, their company, and why they're a great opportunity to help angel and early stage investors make some money. So we're kicking off today with CyberPie, and Andrea is going to tell you a little bit about their solution. Somebody needs muted there. A bit of my voice. Brilliant. Yeah, CyberPie for small businesses in cybersecurity. But I'll hand over to Andrea now to talk you through. So if you have any questions, pop them in the chat, or you can ask them at the end. Or if you want to be interested, Andrea and the other teams, just let us know. But I'll pass over to Andrea.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Can you see my screen? Are we good to go?
Brilliant.
Fantastic, thank you. So thank you for giving us your time today. My name is Andrea. I'm the co-founder of CyberPie, and we're revolutionizing cybersecurity and compliance for that micro business sector by breaking it down into just small manageable tasks that can be done in under 5 minutes a week. We all know that quote that if you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. By democratizing cybersecurity for this sector and making fishermen out of those small business owners we all rely on, our solicitors, our physios, our accountants. And we're taking the fear out of cybersecurity and we're humanizing it, and then we're linking it to a risk profile. But before I explain how, I just want to share what a typical small business looks like. There's no dedicated IT. Cybersecurity and data protection fall to the business owner or the office manager. They sell based on reputation, and customer trust is their currency. They use a suite of cloud products, and they're vulnerable. 60% of small businesses will close down within 6 months of being hit by a cybercrime. So to solve this problem, our edTech platform delivers bite-sized learning and combines simple scanning and audit tools with a library of resources such as templates and playbooks to build that resilience and meet compliance requirements. But there's more. Cybersecurity is all about reducing risk, and here's where the innovation lies. When a successful ML model is implemented into the CyberPie platform, preventative maintenance and timely cyber attack alerts can easily be achieved. And we know cyber insurance is growing at a compound annual growth rate of 30% year on year, and insurers need this data to understand this sector of the SME market. The digital risk profile we generate means that, much like an advanced driving course reduces car insurance, proof of good cyber hygiene can reduce premiums for the CyberPie customer. Here's an example of how the CyberPie dashboard looks. It's clean, it's a simple overview of all the actions taken, and this way we're making cybersecurity tangible and measurable. And at the same time, we're also gathering the data, combining it with external data sources and using AI to generate a risk score. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. We're working on a blockchain model that gives the user ownership of their profile and ensures integrity and security. The business model is simple. It's a digital subscription to the user, but the next level is leveraging the risk profile and partnering with the insurance industry. In our discussions with insurers, they tell us that they need this data to understand and de-risk the microbusiness sector. And the CyberPie product is a value add when they're selling cyber insurance. Our competitors like CyberSafe have just raised 28 million, and German company SoSafe 78 million in Series B funding. But we are the first to recognize the microbusiness as a distinct sector within the SME market. And they make up 90 to 95% of all businesses in Europe and the US. In our competitor solutions, the platforms are employee-centric. They require technical expertise to implement, and they focus on security awareness for the employee and tell them what not to do. CyberPie speaks to the business owner and provides the know-how. We say this is what you can do, and here's how. We understand that a 5-person office is so vastly different to a 50 or 100-person office. Now I want to tell you about the market. Spending on cybersecurity by small businesses is at $57 billion annually and growing. And the compound annual growth rate for cyber insurance in this sector is at 28%. In Ireland and the UK alone, this gives us an addressable market of 6 million businesses. And we're going after legal, medical, and the professional sector, those with data at risk and they recognize the risk. And we reach them through their representative professional bodies and associations. So you might be thinking, why are we the perfect team to turn cybersecurity into a subscription product for the small business owner? We know the micro business market. Both of us are successful entrepreneurs supporting SMEs. I'm the cybersecurity domain expert. I lecture and consult in both data protection and security. I've delivered security awareness training to government bodies, private enterprises, and more recently, a CPD lecture to 1,100 members of the Insurance Institute. Alison, my co-founder, has an MBA and comes from the international oil and gas sector, and she knows how to achieve growth through strategy. We know how to drive marketing strategies and how to reach our primary market to achieve our numbers. So now you know what we're building and why we're building. Our bootstrapped MVP is live, and within the last 8 months, we've validated the problem through our 80 active users and hundreds of stakeholder interviews. We're looking for €500,000 to upgrade the existing platform and develop the machine learning model and risk profile with our research partners at Nimbus Research. And the next step is our move into the UK, which will bring us to our first 70,000 users. We're going to make cybersecurity accessible to the micro business. We have the team, there's a pain, we have the solution and a simple, effective product, and we have traction. So if you'd like to help us give the micro business sector a piece of the cybersecurity pie, we'd love to talk to you. Thank you very much.
That was great, Andrea. Thank you very much. Yeah, well done. I think it's great insight into the whole business and yourselves as a team in the market you're going after. Does anyone have any initial questions they'd like to ask? Feel free to come off mute and ask them or put them into chatbot. In the meantime, CyberPie, like all good SaaS companies, how sticky do you think your product is going to be, or how have you found it with your initial customers and trialing it?
Well, we're fortunate that basically doing security and data protection is actually a statutory requirement. Everybody needs to do it, but we know that they don't. And we recognize that this sector, just their whole world is their reputation and customer trust. So every time they take another step along the pie and build their defenses, they're working towards their accreditation badge, which is something that they can put on their website, which literally does demonstrate that they are doing cybersecurity, that they take their privacy seriously. So they earn this accreditation badge, which links back to the CyberPie website where you can verify it. And that way they're going to want to keep their ongoing subscription because they want to keep their accreditation, because that will help their sales. It's a competitive advantage.
Very good. And then I suppose that feeds into then your marketing and your outreach and your sales then. There's that genuine need that people have.
As much as we'd like to go out to each one of the individual businesses, it's not possible. So we have to go through the people that support them. So there are all the professional bodies like the Law Society, the Institute of Insurers that I've done lectures for, the Chartered Institute of Physios. There are bodies that the accountants use for networking, as well as obviously for professional development. So we reach our primary market through the professional bodies and organizations that support them. And then the other side of it is obviously the whole insurance market, where the insurers take CyberPie and wrap it up to make cyber insurance easier to sell.
Brilliant. So lots of opportunities and that you're just ready to get stuck into. Brilliant. So that's great. So if anyone would like to find out more about CyberPie or to be introduced to Andrea or Alison, please let us know. Thank you very much.
Yeah, question, Michael, possibly from Carlton there.
Right.
Carlton, do you want to come off mute and ask a question?
Yeah, sure. The question is what is the level of attack that you've seen that suggests that there will be an interest for SMEs? Do you have that figure?
Yeah, this is a huge one. It happens all the time, but obviously the ones you only ever read about are the ones like the universities and the hospitals. So the average cost of a cyber attack to a small business is between 6 and 60,000. That's enough to sink them. And that's where those figures come from, where 60% of small businesses will go out of business within 6 months. It happens all the time. And it's often really small things that could so easily have been avoided. But it was just a lack of know-how and a lack of awareness. So the awareness is growing. And obviously that's our job. That's where I come in with the marketing and all the talks and the events. But it's happening, there's no question. And it can be as simple as somebody's Instagram account being taken over. But to them, that's their database. They've got 20,000 followers. Those are their customers.
Thanks very much for the question, Carlton.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to move on now to my mailbox. And Deborah, if you're there, yeah, there you are.
Hi, everyone.
If you just want to share your screen, and I'll let you tell us all about my mailbox.
Okay, so can everyone see the screen okay? So my mailbox is a new start company, which originally began by providing virtual mailbox and parcel solutions to business. The Courier Express parcel market has seen unprecedented growth since COVID-19, with this trend set to continue. As a result of this growth and the increased number of vehicles on the road, last mile deliveries account for the largest share of CO2 emissions in e-commerce logistics. Increasingly, the conversation has moved towards out-of-home deliveries. From a consumer perspective, managing home deliveries is becoming increasingly problematic with a return to work, long delivery slots, and failed and rescheduled deliveries. The current solutions available to manage these deliveries are expensive and often attract the wrong type of attention to vacant properties. Our answer to this problem is our intelligent parcel solutions. Our lockers provide a secure, easily accessible, cost-effective solution to last mile delivery costs and the headaches that come with home parcel deliveries and retailer click and collect services. Not only can they make final mile logistics more efficient by making sure parcels get to the recipients first time, they can also cut out CO2 emissions by almost 2/3 compared to home delivery options. They also reduce local noise pollution and reduce the congestion on our roads. We're designing software to make these lockers perform better and become the go-to solution. So why us? Why parcel lockers? Why now? The CEP market is moving away from the traditional model of in-home deliveries and closed network solutions. Town centres are becoming increasingly urbanised and congestion charges are being brought in order to drive vehicle and travel away from built-up areas. Carbon emissions from logistics and courier solutions are an immediate problem, and the lockers provide a solution which can significantly reduce the need to deliver to individual homes. Our consumers are looking to become more active and are more aware of our impact on the climate. They are embracing these new carbon-friendly answers. So last year, there were in the region of 4.2 billion parcels delivered in the UK. As a whole, this industry is estimated to be worth 693 million. Amazon, the second largest delivery group after Royal Mail, has doubled its network of parcel lockers from 2,500 to nearly 5,000. By Q3 of 2021, Quadient has seen an organic growth rate of 22.5% in its parcel locker sales and installed a further 2,200 lockers. Polish parcel locker operator InPost is set to install 10,000 new parcel lockers in the UK as part of a new £100 million investment. Despite uncertainties surrounding COVID and the economic outlook, the CRE market remains strong. Commercial property investment doubled from 1.8 billion euros in quarters 1 to 3 in 2020 to nearly 3.5 billion in the same period in 2021. The two key winners that have identified in this area are the private rental sector and the logistics investment, which according to the Irish Times is set for its strongest year ever due to the booming e-commerce trade. Overall, this industry is also moving towards the use of parcel lockers as fully serviced solutions for their mail and parcelling handling. Current parcel lockers are designed around managing parcel deliveries and collections. Our goal is to take the basic hardware and firmware and bolt on the back-end solution that will enable us to maximize how these lockers are used and sold. To date, we have received our Gold Level Innovator Award. We've achieved our ISO 9001-2015 certification and have most recently been confirmed with our accreditation with the All Ireland Business Foundation. We've secured a sole distributorship agreement with one of the major manufacturers of the lockers, Parcel Hive. We have an MVP with a hardware and basic firmware in place, and we're ready now to go to market and gain market validation and secure orders for our next phase development. Our business model is based around a fully serviced solution with the sale of our hardware and independent subscription sales of the software solution to other locker manufacturers. The 3.73 million in locker sales will give us a 12.5% market share of the total anticipated network requirement in Ireland of 3,000 units. And that's just to secure the current demand in parcel deliveries. The 8.5 million in software sales is based on us attracting a 30% share of the software licensing needs of the major locker providers in the UK. It is anticipated by the end of year 3 that we have achieved a turnover of 12.25 million and gained a 12.5% share in the locker sales in Ireland and gained significant traction with the sale of the software licensing to the main locker providers in the UK. We are asking for an initial 150,000 to get to the next level. This will allow us to develop our software solution and get the new version of the product to market. It'll also allow us to get our end user mobile app. This will allow us to gain the traction we need and achieve our financial targets. We will use 25,000 funds to secure additional recruitment and for director services for product development. The remaining funds will be used for working capital and deposits of purchase for lockers for own use. We want to be the market leader and provider of this software, and we want to play a key role in providing a solution to the Courier Express positive impact and help us lead this market into the future. To support our growth and development, we have a highly experienced team with backgrounds in software development, sales channels, operations, and logistics. That's all for now. Thank you.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much. And do we have any questions at this point? You can jump in. Deborah, I was going to ask, I think one of the things that we're sort of well aware of, working quite closely with you, is that, yeah, don't be fooled. It's not just a locker you're offering here. It's really the software in behind there that's really what's driving this business.
Yeah, the hardware is quite a basic piece of kit. So the software is really what is driving this whole process forward. And what's really making us different to what some of the competitors like Quadient and Imposter are offering is that they're really focused on the whole parcel pickup and delivery. Where we're coming at is being able to open this network up and make it very much an open network available for e-commerce, couriers, retailers, individuals. So that's bringing in the individual end user app, but it's also about building the back end of the system. So what we're putting in there is needed like a capacity schedule, so nearly like a production schedule for a manufacturing firm, which will allow us to control how all these different users interact with parcel lockers, and we manage that delivery. Some of the other weaknesses though that we've noted with some of the other lockers is that they've been quite inefficient. So for instance, if you rock up to the locker and you have 30 parcels that you need to deliver, everybody offers it on a one-to-one solution now. So it's one parcel for one delivery. So if you have 30 parcels, you have to stand at that locker unit and keep putting it into different ones. And what we've done is we've reconfigured that whole process and that customer journey. So once they start, if they've got maybe 30 parcels to go out to 4 couriers, is that we can continue to put the scan and the track and trace on that, but put it into 4 lockers as opposed to 30. And that's how we really see where we're going to start maximizing the revenues behind that.
Good. So yeah, I think it's funny. It's something that we sort of took for granted a little bit during lockdown when everything was getting delivered and parcels arriving every single day. But it does need, I think, that structure in behind it. And we've been seeing that around Belfast with all the student accommodation blocks all firing up. It's just going to open up
our biggest problem, sorry, Michael, as well, is because we felt that pain. We've done it because we provided those services. We've very quickly realized how difficult and time consuming it is if you're managing all the mail and parcel deliveries coming in from maybe 60 different companies into a building. By the time you receive it, sort it, notify the customer, and then arrange for them to come and pick it up at the back end, it's just not a sustainable model. And now is just the perfect time in terms of the rising fuel costs. The industry as a whole now recognise that it's not sustainable. They cannot continue to meet the demand in these home delivery services going forward in the future.
Brilliant.
We're going to use our lovely technology. We've had 2 fantastic pitches, and we're going to do a quick poll. If you have a chance to vote, we'd love you to vote. I'm going to vote on CyberPie first and then on my mailbox. So let's run these just really quickly. And give me 1 second. Zoom is saying that I'm logged in for another device. Okay, we'll come back to the polls in a wee second. I'll see if I can fix that technology and move on.
We'll move on with network fit. Yes, I did a Zoom thing earlier on today, and could I share my screen? I don't know where the presentation was hidden. So yes, these things happen on Zoom. Right, I'll just pass over now to Ryan O'Reilly, who's going to tell you about network fit, and how he's going to revolutionize the fitness training and gym management world. So I'll pass on over to Ryan.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Michael. Share my screen. Yeah, so the fitness industry has not changed in well over 2 decades. There's a lack of flexibility and accessibility when it comes to health and fitness. For a user finding fitness opportunities to suit their needs, it's tough out there. For a gym or trainer, they're great at teaching and delivering training, but looking after admin, checking subscriptions, chasing payments, it's not their strength. The market segment here faces a variety of challenges when it comes to fitness. For users, as I mentioned, finding those fitness opportunities is overwhelming, and that can lead to a lack of motivation and giving up. For gyms, it's costly, it's time consuming to try and compete with the big box gyms. When it comes to advertising, management systems are expensive, they're complicated, and they're not easy to use with lots of unused features. And for personal trainers, connecting with clients can be problematic, especially in a crowded market when everyone's trying to do the same. Clients want more from the standard. Network Fit is an all-in-one searchable platform connecting fitness-based businesses with customers searching for their personal solutions to their fitness needs. Our platform allows users to search for a gym, class, or trainer based on their specific needs and wants, and then book and pay for that session in advance with no contract or commitment. Fitness is not a one-size-fits-all solution, and it should be searchable, flexible, and bookable without forcing you into a contract. Our solution takes away all the unwanted, unneeded faff when it comes to running a successful fitness business. We provide the essential services that help the gym and PT manage and promote their business, giving them flexibility and freedom to grow and scale, which is easy to use and more cost effective than the competition. Network Fit is built for you with your customer in mind, managing clients, scheduling workouts, nutrition, and advertising your business all in one place. We take the hassle out of managing and growing the fitness business so the business can focus on what they do best, helping their clients. The health and fitness industry at a critical shifting point, with the UK fitness industry valued at over £2 billion, the US at over 33 billion, and globally at 96.7 billion. And we have a unique opportunity here in Ireland, both north and south, to grab the market share and then expand with conversations already happening in the US. When a user books a class or session, we take a booking fee from the business. The fitness business can also sign up to our monthly management system, which is a monthly recurring revenue-based model based on the number of members that attend that gym or the amount of clients the PT has. Personal trainers in the future will also have the ability for premium features to include access to support and education and materials, and other one-offs such as power cues and templates to use for their clients and their gyms. To date, we've been testing and iterating with 42 onboarded fitness businesses of gyms and PTs and over 110 onboarded user accounts. We've launched our MVP into the marketplace for testing and feedback. And to date, we've won the Belfast Business Idea Award for 2021. We've received the Silver Level Innovator Award by Innovate NI, and we were recently awarded the Mobile and Emerging Technology Startup of the Year for 2022. We tested our platform in comparison to our competitors with help from Queen's University and the public, finding Hustle was difficult to understand, ClassPass only offered classes, and MindBody was hugely expensive for the business. Other competitors in our space like TrueCoach recently raised 2.6 million and were then acquired by TSG for an undisclosed fee. TeamUp have went on to grow to 28 employees, and much more of these businesses are gaining huge amounts of traction. Many of our competitors do offer parts of what we do, but we will be the first full service platform for fitness businesses. I'm Ryan, founder of Network Fit, a qualified personal trainer for the past 8 years with previous management and sales experience in B2B and B2C markets. Our team is rounded off with industry experts, university professors, successful business owners, and tech advisors, giving us a competitive advantage as part of the fitness industry. Our partnerships are key to our success, and we've developed many connections over the past year, helping us develop, grow, and redefine what our offering is. To speed up our development on our management system and to bring on more fitness businesses through marketing, we're seeking a £100,000 investment and would love to connect. Join me and Network Fit on the journey to the fitness revolution. Thank you for listening.
Brilliant, Ryan. That was great. Thank you very much. As always, if anyone has any questions, please pop them into the chat. I was going to ask you about scaling and breaking into other markets around the world. Is there any limitations in what you can do, or any cultural things you have to be aware of, or barriers to international growth?
There's definitely not. And in the industry we're in, the way we've built ourselves to corner both sides of the marketplace, as I say, we were already having those conversations in the likes of the States and in the Republic of Ireland and mainland UK. And we've discovered there isn't any cultural differences. There's no barriers to entry to stop us from conquering those globally. So very much so, this is a scalable worldwide global product.
Forget. And where do you hope to get to? Where's next after Northern Ireland? Which markets will you target first, do you think?
Yeah, well, as I say, we've already started acquiring some gyms in the Republic of Ireland. So we've already started that Ireland as a whole piece. And we've began those conversations in the States already, as one of our team members is actually based in the States, a university professor specializing in the fitness industry. So we've already began those conversations and doing market validation feedback to make sure that it works in that market, and we're getting great success from that. So next on our radar is hopefully to push into that, and at the same time, while we focus on the UK market for myself, while we're also conquering the US. So very much the US our priority at the minute in the next 6 months, hopefully. Very
good. And I think most, if not all, the companies pitching today, your SCI, CIS, Advanced Assured.
Yeah, so we're actually in the process of that. Yeah, so very much so, yeah.
Brilliant. Excellent. Look, thank you very much, Ryan. And if anyone wants to follow up with Ryan, his details are in the chat as all our startups details are. So feel free to reach out to them directly or themselves at Raise, and we can make introductions. So thank you, Ryan. And next up, we have Leanne with Prompted, where we can find out how to get those invoices paid that are long-standing and costing us money.
Can see the screen. There we go. You've got the screen, have you?
Yes, and we've got you as well.
Excellent, excellent. Leanne Scott from Prompted. Late payments are not just an inconvenience. Anyone who has started a small business knows the soul-destroying pain of chasing invoices, and late payments are destroying lives and businesses across the world. They impact everything from cash flow to the less talked about mental health of business owners who lie awake worrying about when those payments are going to come in. 50,000 or more small businesses shut their doors each year as a direct result of cash flow issues caused by late payments. But if we look beyond those 50,000, we'll find thousands of small business owners struggling every single day to keep their heads above water, desperately trying to get paid on time consistently. We're lying awake wondering when and if that client is going to pay. We're wondering if we should send another reminder. But quite frankly, we've sent 3 already. So how many is too many? But payday is fast approaching. So what more can I do to get the money in and preserve the relationship? 2 years ago, I was head of marketing for the Sheriff of the High Court, and she managed to rack up a bill of £20,000 with me. I know the irony. It started with just one late invoice, but then it kind of crept up because she'd pay 1 week and then not. But because I was so busy doing the work, like most small businesses, I didn't keep a tight enough control on things. And because I didn't want to jeopardize the relationship, I left it too long. I kept hoping it would sort itself out. In hindsight, there were a lot of red flags. Red flags I've learned to recognize since, but sometimes I still find myself second guessing. I didn't have a budget for a credit control assistant because I couldn't rely on the cash flow. There had to be a better way. So I realized that most small businesses like me waited until there was a problem before looking for a solution, and that most accountants will tell you that credit control, not debt collection, is one of the most underutilized prevention strategies for small businesses. Why? Because we've been taught since the day we were born that asking for money is taboo. We need to start before they know they have a problem. So with my marketing hat on, I hypothesized that if we can read buying signals, surely we can read paying signals too. And surely we can recognize the difference between someone who can't pay and someone who won't pay. And if we could recognize that, would offering a payment plan at that point be the difference between someone paying or not paying? It isn't enough to just send out 3 email reminders, because the truth is if all it took was 3 reminders, we wouldn't have a global late payment crisis. The solution needs to recognize anomalies in payment behavior and raise a red flag so the business owner can take proactive action if things start going south. But most importantly, it needs to give the business owner the confidence to take action. I'm delighted to introduce you to Prompted today. Better payment behavior. We're a deep tech SaaS platform with the potential to drive early recurring revenue, but with the opportunity to fundamentally disrupt the payment culture globally and to empower business owners to make better financial decisions to improve their cash flow. Our platform encourages two-way communication between businesses and their clients. It helps to guide conversations around getting paid without damaging relationships. We integrate with Xero, with QuickBooks and Sage, so we can work with the accounting packages and not in place of them. And if things don't go to plan, we guide business owners through the legal process all the way to enforcement, giving them the confidence to claim their money and keep going. there enough of us to make this fight worth fighting? Absolutely. With 400 million SMEs worldwide and more than 6 million in the UK alone, I haven't met a single SME who is not desperate to get paid on time. An SME who doesn't wish they could invest more in their people, or who doesn't wish they had the cash to make a bigger impact in the world. A business owner who doesn't dream of sleeping soundly at night. If we can show our platform not only saves time, but gets the cash flowing and opens up the opportunity for innovation, I believe we won't be able to keep up with demand. Because quite frankly, we're not just generating leads for a debt collection agency like our competitors. We're 100% committed to solving this global problem, to developing our AI to truly take the pain and emotion out of getting paid. There is money to be made in this industry, and it doesn't have to be from profiteering off SMEs' misfortunes. I believe the key to the treasure chest is through accountants and bookkeepers. People are already comfortable discussing their finances with their accountant, and they're not just about spreadsheets anymore. The modern accountant has a burning desire to see their clients thrive and not just survive, which makes them the perfect introducers for Prompted. Instead of just asking them to mention us to their clients, we've built a comprehensive partner program that integrates with their accounting system and runs all their marketing campaigns and onboarding and pays them a referral fee. That's where Xero started. And with our 35 bookkeepers and accountants on our waiting list, that's where we're starting. We're built for scale. Our partner program, taking a measured, step-by-step approach to recruiting accountants and bookkeepers as partners, we're able to leverage their existing trust relationships to give us the competitive advantage to scale quickly. The average accountant has between 500 and 2,000 clients, depending on practice size, and bookkeepers have between 100 and 500. So you can see our numbers stack up quite nicely. The highs and lows of building businesses. I've been in marketing for the past 20 years, built the first large-scale baby sampling program in South Africa, bringing together stakeholders in government, retail, health, and 37,000 active users with virtually no paid advertising. And although this page shows you that I have a strong team in place, we need to grow that team further. We need to grow a team who are as obsessive about solving this problem as I am. Over the past 12 months, I've raised £50,000 in private investment, secured 43,000 in grant funding, and built a waiting list of 35 partners and nearly 100 users who are literally just waiting for this product to launch. We're at a tipping point. To have an impact, we need to play bigger. We need to play bigger to disrupt the status quo. And we need to play bigger to help small business owners sleep at night. We have an opportunity to fundamentally disrupt the payments culture globally and not just stick a Band-Aid over the symptoms like everybody else. We've built our client-facing product, and phase one of our edTech is in development. edTech's value lies first in the team and then in the tech, and we need your help to make that happen. We're asking you to help us play bigger. Today, we're looking for £250,000 to help us reach our first million in revenue over the next 12 months. That helps us build our core team and get us to market. Next year, we're looking for 1.5 million to help us to solidify our edTech and scale to 50,000 users. At 50,000 users, we'll be generating £21 million in annual revenue with only 500 partners and 100 users each. And we haven't even started adding in the 4 other revenue streams. In the current climate, the late payment problem is only getting worse, and we need to be ready to address it. So if you want to see a world where small business owners are dreaming up ways to innovate and not lying awake, worrying about how to get paid, join me, join the revolution, and invest in Prompted today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leanne. and I'll let you off going 2 minutes over there. Anyway, it was
Sorry.
good. That's okay. So, look, thank you very much for that. As always, any questions, please pop them into the chat. So you're projecting really good, big, solid numbers. In terms of the scalability of your platform and your service, if you're heading up in 5 years to 210 million in terms of revenue, how big will your team, or what's your sort of scaling look like to support that level of revenue?
So in terms of team, we're working on kind of general numbers of, normally it's about £130,000 of revenue per employee that should be generated. But because we're online, because we are tech based, we believe that we can get that to 250,000 revenue per employee. And we don't think we need to grow a team of 400, but we think we will need a team of 100 to 200 over the next 5 years. Obviously, we need to see how that scales. In terms of looking at the numbers from a revenue point of view, what we need to focus on is making sure that those partners are looked after. So that would be our first kind of sales focus, is that we have a strong partner success team to onboard them, because that's where our ability of a one-to-many marketing strategy really kicks in. So if we can look after those partners and really get them on board, get them to kind of be part of the revolution and evangelical about us, then I think we can achieve those quite comfortably and quite consistently. They are big numbers, but we have got a very step-by-step plan to achieve that.
Very good. And I think just the people on the call know Raise is based in Belfast, but our startups are all over the place. So Leanne, where are you building this business?
So I am at northwest in the Lake District, so England on the mainland.
Okay, very good. Great place to visit if you get an excuse. Absolutely. Well, that's brilliant. Look, so if anyone has any questions or would like to be introduced to Leanne, please get in touch with us. That would be great. So we're now coming to the last pitch of the day, which is Janet from Diverse Talent, who we've got to know very well. Gemma's in Diverse Talent share the Raise offices with us as well, so we've got to know Gemma and the team very, very well. So I'll pass over to Gemma to tell us a little bit more about Diverse Talent.
Thank you so much, Michael. All right, let's do the tech testing. Everybody can see the screen okay? Yeah, fab. Well, thanks very much, everybody, for joining us today. As Michael said, my name is Gemma Simpson, and I am the founder of Diverse Talent. As a quick intro, for the last 12, nearly 13 years, and the grey hairs are nearly showing it as well, I've dedicated my career to the recruitment and HR sector across the island of Ireland, the UK, and East Asia as well. But more so, in the last 18 months, we have been developing a new solution to support better diversity and inclusion within the workplace. And why? Because at least 47% of the future talents say they actively look for inclusive employers. And what does that look like? It's organizations that are dedicated and invested into supporting better diversity, inclusion, and equitable in the workforce. So Diverse Talent was born about 18 months ago. Originally, we set out to develop ourselves as a traditional recruitment service where we would audit employers and we would fully understand their commitment to DE&I by looking at their benefits packages, their employer handbooks, whether or not they're invested in different charitable organizations or have internal communities such as a pride community or supporting more women into tech. Though in the last 10 months, we have gone online and we are building our new purpose-led recruitment platform. And you can see there a picture of ourselves attending Digital DNA last week. And for those that are not familiar with the event in Northern Ireland, it's pretty much the web summit of Northern Ireland, where all companies can showcase themselves. And great to hear that we were actually one of the most busiest companies there in terms of footprint. So and that's some of the team members from Diverse Talent. So if you've never been in a position to recruit talent before, you might not be familiar that it's actually a pretty hard domain to do. And certainly post-Brexit, post-COVID, there is a substantial global fight for skills, for talent and for knowledge, particularly within the technology industry. And that's not just in the UK and Ireland, that is across the world. And one of the reasons for that is a greater demand from job seekers to actually work for organizations that can meet their values as well as offering a career. So that's being able to work for an employer that is perhaps tech for good, or building a product that is going to impact humanity, or will allow somebody to be their true selves in the workplace. Perhaps they're trans, or perhaps they're coming from a socioeconomic background that doesn't really compete with those with PhDs and doctorates. Because of this demand, equally, there is a rising cost for employers attracting and retaining their talent, and the price of recruitment is continually increasing. The market, pretty expensive. So the UK recruitment industry alone is worth over 1.4 billion, which industry suspects it will increase to over 2.2 billion once we have the data from 2022. The average cost to hire somebody using a recruitment service like a recruitment agency or a job board is typically £4,500 per placement. To give some more context, I've actually charged companies well over £15,000 for just one placement. Equally, the global market for diversity and inclusion was $7.5 billion in 2020. Which is projected to reach at least $15.4 billion by 2026. And what does that look like? It is companies, organizations, both public and private, investing into better structures, tools, technology, and practices to support better diversity in the workplace. One of the biggest and leading job board and recruitment sites in the world is Indeed.com, which last year turned over a £2.4 billion revenue because they're so busy trying to help everybody else trying to recruit. So our solution, we wanted to build a platform for everyone, for people that want to work for organizations that are transparent about their gender pay. We wanted to ensure that people with disabilities or neurodiverse elements are able to connect directly with employers that are experienced and can support their individuality in that company. As a gay woman, it was incredibly important for me to work with organizations that are LGBTQ friendly. And of course, as a female entrepreneur, there are organizations that are safe for minorities and can support diversity in the workplace. So our platform is going to be community-led. It's going to allow for companies that go through our audit to advertise their active job posts, as well as contact job seekers directly. But importantly, we are going to reduce unconscious bias in the recruitment process. So whenever an employer selects a candidate to contact, they won't actually see any of their personal details. That candidate will only be judged based on their location and their skill set. Equally, they'll be able to showcase their commitments to diversity and inclusion and allow job seekers to select that employer based on their values and not just their job title or the salary offering. We are about 3 weeks away from launching our beta version. We are currently going through testing right now with both candidates and potential new customers. Some of the further functionalities is for job seekers can select and audit employers before they apply. This is so important, particularly for HR and recruitment specialists in companies. Typically, we will get a large amount of direct applications that are not suitable for the role. And that means that time and resources are spent having to qualify unqualified job seekers. With this, though, job seekers are able to qualify themselves and the companies before they make the application. Equally important is to reduce the unconscious bias that does happen. If you've ever read a CV before, you will have automatically made an unconscious bias against that person based on their name, their location, and unfortunately, sometimes the school that they went to in their education background. As well as being able to attract staff for their company, it is equally important that an employer is able to showcase their brand. And that's why we will only work with ethical organizations, because job seekers will trust us to match them to fair workplaces. So each employer will have their own profile to showcase their DE&I commitments, their benefits, and media as well. One of the biggest selling points for our platform is our CRM, the back end, and this is available for both job seekers and employers. Why this is so important is so that job seekers can manage their applications, but also it provides an extra layer of GDPR security, and so that employers that use the platform are able to manage their entire process from job application through to onboarding. And how we are actually going to generate revenue is on a subscription level. So depending on the size of the company, they will pay us a yearly fee on how many jobs they will need to post. Initially, we'll be launching as our beta version, so it'll depend purely on job posts. Later on in our second phase of development, the price of subscription will increase because we'll have an active candidate database. At the moment, we've already secured over 1,500 job applicants in the Northern Ireland community. And let's talk money. So as I mentioned, for the last 18 months, we have actually been bootstrapping the development of our platform by utilizing our recruitment skills. As mentioned before, I've spent the last 12 years in this industry and was able from day one to bring on new clients that believed in our mission and shared our values. Because of this, they've allowed us to use them as market testers to go through our auditing process and to allow us to place candidates with them. This has generated over £80,000 to help us support our startup costs, which has included outsourcing our tech, hiring new talent for the diverse talent team, and by able to invest into market data research as well. As of this month, we've actually got over £1.2 million secured in contracts, and that's solely just from our traditional recruitment service. Our current book value with 1.2 million, this will really depend on whether or not we can connect talent to these employers. But as it stands, our current MRR is averaging around £6,500 per month. And this again is solely on our traditional service. We place a candidate into a role and we get a fee for that. In some months we can bill 15,000, in other months we can bill 25,000. But we would predict our future MRR will increase to at least £25,000 per month whenever we launch our subscription. And our customers are ready. So over the last 18 months, we've already been building our relationships with companies of all sizes across the north and south of Ireland. You might be familiar with some of the bigger names on this list, and I can assure you the list is even wider than this. Larger companies like Liberty IT, who are headquartered in Dublin, Ireland, but have offices across the world and hire in different locations, are ready to sign up to our platform and to use the platform in different locations such as America. Similarly as well with Aquarian, which is over 15,000 employees and are continually hiring every single month for at least 25 people. So what we are wanting to do now is to bring our new clients onto the platform, allow them to test, and then be able to showcase the platform outside of the UK and Ireland remit. How are we going to get there? Well, although we're bootstrapped, we are wanting to raise £250,000 for 4 core elements. 1, we want to reinvest into R&D. We believe by integrating better machine learning and artificial intelligence, we'll be able to drive a stronger function and connection between job seekers and candidate and job applications. This type of technology is already being utilized in our biggest competitor, Indeed.com, and they're still only breaking ground now, although they've been operational for over 20 years. We need to hire further talent. The tech team in diverse talent is currently outsourced, and we want to bring it in. We have 8 permanent employees that will all need further training, and we need to expand this by at least 10 further people for both sales, marketing, and of course our in-house tech team. The marketing and advertising side is fundamental to our own brand awareness, and we need to reinvest into social media content and event marketing. And lastly, and equally as important as the R&D, data compliance. Our business holds a lot of sensitive data. That's people's personal details, their salary information, the contact details. And what we need to do is finesse the security around this and the legal expertise around GDPR. So,
Brilliant.
oh, am I over the 5 minutes?
God, you're well over the 5 minutes. But anyway,
apologize.
I will let you away with it. But like that was
Well, I'm finished now anyways.
Brilliant. Good. If it had been one of the live events, we would have got the big
like a klaxon.
The klaxon, the siren would have gone off. But like, no, that was absolutely brilliant. And then your final point there about needing support and funds to help your cybersecurity. Clearly, that's the use CyberPie that we heard about earlier. To look after all of your, goes without saying, doesn't it?
Of course.
So yeah, no, I think that was brilliant. We're coming up sort of close to the end of the hour. So just sort of the quick question I have is, I think what comes across there is recruitment is still at the core of what you're trying to do. And you, that's still at the heart of it. And the diversity is as equally important, but you're getting great quality candidates for businesses to solve those businesses' needs is still at the core of what you're doing. Is that right?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. What we're doing now, Michael, is fundamental to the future recruitment processes. We've analysed different competitors in the industry, and they're only now picking up, oh, actually, we need to include some sort of diversity button on our job board, whereas ours has been purpose built for diversity, and it's been taken very seriously amongst larger corporations, particularly those in America who are already 10 years ahead of the UK when it comes to appreciating and investing into E&I in the workplace. So yeah, recruitment and diversity goes hand in hand right now.
Brilliant. Well, like that was excellent. So if anyone has any questions or wants to chat to Gemma about getting involved in their journey, please contact directly through the details in the chat function there, or come to us at Raise and we can make introductions for you. But like, I just want to sort of finish up here by thanking everybody for pitching, everyone for coming on and listening. I'll hand over to Jenny for some closing words, but we'll get in touch with everyone on the call just to get some feedback, find out if there's anything that we can do to help make some connections. And help these amazing entrepreneurs grow and develop their businesses. But I'll hand over to Jenny just to say some closing words.
Yeah, well done to all the pitches. Congratulations. It's fantastic to see the improvements over the weeks and coming out and being able to showcase your business opportunity to a brand new audience is absolutely fantastic. I was looking back at some of the comments. We kind of poll our startups to find out what they're thinking of our program, just to give you a wee bit of flavour. And some of the comments coming back are, our accelerator program isn't like any other program. It's putting the companies in a good place ahead of launch, encouraging them to take away the learnings and put them into practice. So what they've learned on our program, they've put into practice today, and you can see that deck is just a short summary of what's actually going on underneath the business. And by talking to any of these businesses, you'll be able to delve in over a coffee into their business model, into the market opportunity, and into the investment conversations beyond today. So today is all about opening up those conversations. And to link into that, then we run a weekly kind of coffee morning down at our offices in Commercial Court on a Wednesday from 9 to 10. And that'll be on next Wednesday if you want to pop in and meet any of the companies face to face. You can also contact them through the email links that I put into the chat. And some of our companies mentioned that they are having kind of an AI ML element to their product and tech solutions. We're also having an AI and ML event next Tuesday afternoon. So that's Tuesday the 28th in the afternoon and Wednesday the 29th in the morning. A couple of events happening, and our founders will be around for any questions. And obviously we're really excited to talk about our autumn program coming up. Open at the moment for the next generation of startups to apply, and running through the program from September this year. And we're really excited to be bringing on the next generations of startups, not across Northern Ireland, into Ireland and into the UK, that we can help on this journey. And this is only the start of this, the journey for a lot of the companies here today, and hopefully you'll see them more and more as they continue to grow. And it's not always just about investment. If there's anybody that you can think might use the product from a customer perspective, that's always really beneficial to the companies to get in contact with in terms of customer connections and investor connections. We'd really appreciate your support on both those things. So thank you everybody for your time. It was lovely to have you this lovely sunny Thursday afternoon, and look forward to seeing you all very soon.